When night comes, the body becomes still, the eyes close, the senses withdraw, thoughts fade, and the world disappears. The waking personality, with its name, duties, worries, and ambitions, dissolves into silence. From the ordinary viewpoint, we say, "I slept," but Adi Shankaracharya asks a subtle and revolutionary question. Who is this I that claims to have slept? The body lay motionless, unaware. The mind stopped producing thoughts. Memory was absent. Yet upon waking, there is a clear recognition, I slept peacefully. This simple statement hides one of the deepest spiritual mysteries. If sleep was total unconsciousness, who knew the peace of sleep? Something must have remained present even when mind and body were inactive. That ever-present reality is what Shankaracharya calls the self, Atman, pure awareness itself. To understand this, we must first separate three layers of experience: body, mind, and awareness. The body belongs to the physical world. It grows tired and requires rest. The mind belongs to subtle activity. It thinks, imagines, dreams, remembers, and worries. Awareness, however, is neither physical nor mental. It is the light because of which body and mind are known.
During waking, awareness illumines sensory experiences. During dreaming, awareness illumines internal images created by the mind. During deep sleep, when both sensory input and mental images disappear, awareness does not vanish, only objects of awareness disappear. Shankaracharya insists that absence of objects is not absence of awareness. Just as a lamp continues to shine even in an empty room, awareness remains even when nothing appears before it. Consider carefully. In deep sleep, there is no world, no identity, no problem, no fear, no desire. The king and the beggar become equal. Success and failure disappear. Even the sense of individuality dissolves, yet existence continues. If existence truly stopped, waking would never occur again. The continuity between sleeping and waking proves that something unbroken persists through all states. That continuity is the self. The body sleeps, the mind rests, but the self neither sleeps nor wakes, it simply is. Sleep belongs to the body. Inactivity belongs to the mind. Timeless presence belongs to awareness. Shankaracharya uses this insight to overturn our usual understanding of consciousness. We normally believe consciousness is produced by the brain and therefore disappears when mental activity stops. Advaita reverses this assumption. Consciousness is not produced, it is fundamental. The brain and mind are instruments through which consciousness expresses experience, just as electricity expresses through a bulb as light. When the bulb is switched off, electricity does not die. Only illumination through that bulb ceases. Similarly, deep sleep is not destruction of consciousness, but temporary withdrawal of mental expression. Awareness remains self-existent.
This explains why deep sleep feels restful. Rest does not come merely from physical stillness. It comes from temporary freedom from ego. During waking, the ego constantly claims ownership. My problem, my fear, my success, my identity. This continuous self-reference creates psychological fatigue. In deep sleep, ego disappears. Without ego, there is no conflict. Without conflict, peace naturally shines. Shankaracharya points out that the happiness of sleep is evidence that bliss is our natural nature. We do not import peace from outside, we uncover it when mental noise subsides. Sleep unknowingly gives a glimpse of our real state, but ignorance prevents recognition while it happens. Why then do we not realize enlightenment every night? because deep sleep contains ignorance along with peace. The mind is absent, so there is no knowledge of the self. Upon waking, ignorance returns, and the ego resumes control. Enlightenment differs from sleep in one crucial way. In enlightenment, the mind becomes quiet while awareness remains knowingly present. It is like being awake to the peace that sleep provides unconsciously. Shankaracharya describes liberation as recognizing the same peace of deep sleep while fully awake. Awareness without egoic disturbance. Observe the transition between waking and sleep. Thoughts slow, images fade, identity loosens. There is a subtle moment where the familiar me begins dissolving. Fear sometimes appears there because the ego senses its disappearance. Yet every night we surrender willingly, proving that our deeper nature is not afraid of losing individuality. Something within trusts the silence of sleep. That trust arises because the self is already whole and does not depend on mental activity for existence.
Another profound implication emerges. If the self does not sleep, then it also does not wake. Waking and sleeping are conditions of the body-mind, not of awareness itself. Awareness witnesses waking just as it witnesses dreaming and deep sleep. Therefore, from the standpoint of the self, life is a continuous witnessing presence in which changing states appear and disappear. Morning does not create awareness, it merely reactivates the mind through which awareness experiences the world. Night does not destroy awareness, it simply withdraws appearances. Imagine the sky across day and night. During the day, clouds move. During the night, darkness covers everything. Yet the sky itself neither becomes bright nor dark. Brightness and darkness belong to conditions within it. Similarly, waking is like daylight activity, dreaming like moving clouds, and deep sleep like darkness. Awareness is the infinite sky, unaffected by any of them. Shankaracharya's teaching invites us to shift identity from passing conditions to the unchanging background. This insight also dissolves fear of death. Sleep resembles a small death. The world disappears, identity dissolves, control ends. Yet we welcome sleep because we intuitively know we will continue. Shankaracharya uses this analogy to explain that death affects the body and mind, but not the self. The witness that remains through daily sleep is the same witness that remains beyond bodily change. Understanding sleep deeply becomes preparation for understanding immortality, not as endless personal existence, but as timeless awareness beyond birth and death. Notice another subtle truth. We never experience the absence of ourselves. Even when we say, "I was unconscious," that statement is made afterward based on memory of absence of experience, not absence of existence. Absolute non-existence can never be experienced. Therefore, the self must be continuous presence. Sleep demonstrates this continuity daily, yet because it is ordinary, we overlook its philosophical depth. Shankaracharya encourages contemplation of this fact. That which knows waking, dream, and sleep cannot belong exclusively to any of them. The knower must be beyond all three. This is called turiya, the fourth, not as another state, but as the underlying reality of all states. Turiya is awareness itself, ever awake, ever present, untouched by activity or inactivity. When one recognizes oneself as this witnessing consciousness, life changes fundamentally. Experiences continue, but identification shifts. One no longer says, "I am tired," but the body is tired. One no longer says, "I am disturbed," but the mind is disturbed. This subtle shift dissolves suffering because the true self is seen as untouched.
The great wonder is that this truth is not distant or mystical. It is verified every night. Each sleep silently declares, you are not limited to thoughts. You exist beyond identity. Peace is your natural condition. Enlightenment is simply understanding consciously what sleep reveals unconsciously. The self never sleeps because it is not an object needing rest. Rest belongs to instruments. Awareness is the light enabling instruments to function. Thus the answer becomes clear. When the body sleeps, the self does not sleep. When the mind stops, the self does not stop. When experiences vanish, the self remains as pure being. Sleep removes the noise, but not the listener. Deep within every person is an unbroken presence, witnessing all changes without itself changing. Recognizing this presence is liberation, according to Adi Shankaracharya, the discovery that behind waking, dreaming, and sleeping shines one continuous reality, the ever-awake self, silent, infinite, and free.